Welcome to Coffee Talk. I am your host, Sharon. I'm joined by my co-host, Sharon, and our special guest on tonight, Marvin. Thank you so much for joining Coffee Talk on tonight. Come on, let's cheers. Cheers to Coffee Talk.
Black coffee out of Fort Worth.
Yes, honey. Louisiana. Marv. Oh, y'all both out of Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, Texas, yeah.
Well, this is actually Black Coffee is actually a Black female-owned shop in Fort Worth.
Well, I like that. The next time I come to visit, I definitely have to go and
over by the TCU district,
because you know how we are about coffee.
Yes, it's over there by the TCU district. Young girl, she go to TCU.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. That's good to know. You know we support Black.
Always.
So thank you for joining. Huh?
That's what your cup says? What is your cup?
Is that what it says, Sharon?
Yeah, it says Black Coffee.
No. What, the other Sharon? Walls.
Oh, mine says
Black don't what?
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack.
There you go.
Unless you drop
it's about Black young lady. It's a Black. We support Black. So yes.
No, I'm the outcast.
I mean, you wouldn't be Coffee Talk without some coffee and some pretty dope coffee cups, right?
No,
We have Hershey's, Black don't crack, and Black. So we representing on tonight. Y'all know what's up. So thank you so much for joining Coffee Talk. This session is pre-recorded. So if you are listening to this at a later time, thank you so much for joining Coffee Talk, a place for all conversations. This is a safe place, and we welcome all opinions. We welcome all vantage points and perspectives. And today's subject is, are we helping or harming our children? Support versus enabling. So that's the subject matter on tonight. And I brought Sharon and my special guest Marvin on board. Because listen, they're both my sounding boards when I call with conversations where I'm going through things with my children. Am I supporting or enabling? And I can say that there are plenty of times that I enabled my children thinking that I was supporting them. And I think that we've all been there at some point or another. So that's why this subject is so dear to us. And we hope that when you come and join Coffee Talk and hear this pre-recording or hear this Coffee Talk session, that it, of course, speaks to you in some way. So please comment, let us know how this has helped you. Give us your opinion. Give us even your experiences when it comes to supporting and enabling your children. So I'll go first. Like I said earlier, I call Marvin and I call Sharon when I need a sounding board. I have enabled my children thinking that I was supporting them. So enabling, of course, is when you're doing something for your children and they're not trying to do anything for themselves. And support is when they are trying to do something for themselves and they just need, they're going through something and they just need support because, for whatever it is that they're going through. But when they're not doing anything and you're doing everything, then of course, yes, we are harming our kids and that's enabling. But when you're supporting them because they are trying to do what they need to do to build their own life. And we need to help them every now and then. That's support. So Sharon and Marvin, y'all can jump in at any point. Let us know how y'all.
Yeah.
Ladies first.
Host first.
Yeah, you can go first. Sure.
Go ahead, Sharon.
You can go first, Sharon.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we didn't check mine. At one point, I was hindering my son because I was working in Iraq, and his daddy had got $2.5 million tax-free. So when I was in 12th grade, he's like, I want my son to come live with me. I'm like, really, Negro? After all of okay. And then he got his money, got the big head, so my son was basically on the street. So when I was in Iraq, I paid for him to stay in a hotel. Mm-hmm. I did it for a couple of months till he got a job. I had got him a car. The car had messed up, and he wasn't really looking for a job. Then when he got a job, he didn't have transportation to get a job in the DFW area, in Grand Prairie, because they don't have public transportation. So I had to put up a hotel for him. But and then one time I got them an apartment after that and paid the rent for a year. Yeah, it was a hood apartment. It was an apartment. Okay. And they didn't get no job in a year, girl. It was done. That was a wrap for me. Now, he have to dang near be dead to ask for money to need help or anything.
Because he got it together.
They're together. I
Did
enabled
he get it
him.
together, and that's why he stopped asking?
Well, no, he got a job and got himself together and all that. He was never a kid that asked for anything anyway. But at that time, his dad tripping, his dad got on drugs, and he had his money. He was just like on the street, and I was out the country.
Mm-hmm.
So I have him on the street while I'm out the country. And I had sold my home and all of that. But it enabled him for a little bit because he got comfortable not even trying to get a job. Because I had them on 360 and it's fast food places. If you can go to Wendy's and get something to eat, you can go over there and ask for a job.
You see, like,
right.
So I'm gonna jump in right there, right? So, like I told Sharon like a while back, like failure is necessary to succeed. Period.
Right.
That's just what that is. Period. Because failure is what, to me, molds you into what it is you could be destined to be. But if you have somebody every time something falls short in your life and they prop you back up, it's almost like you would never learn how to walk if your parents always picked you up and stood you upright to make you try to walk. That would never, if you didn't go through the steps of actually falling and falling and falling and failing until you get better at it. Like, I've been through eviction myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have faced that. And my parents existed the whole time that was going on. And it was more so to the point of it built character to me to where, my boy, you need to figure that out.
Right.
You're working, doing whatever. And for some reason or other, it's not like you pretty much fell short overall. I'm talking for me. Not
right.
that I really fell short. It was just like I was lost. I had no direction. I didn't know which way was up. I didn't know if I was going to be in the street or if I was going to be going back to like do mechanics or like the conventional means of actually making ends meet for myself. So like trying to figure stuff out helped me to be like, hey, I need to be independent because I don't like that feeling of being inside or having to go figure out if I'm gonna sleep on my cousin's couch for a little bit. And you know, mom is dealing with what she's dealing with at home in the islands because I'm an island boy to the death. And then my dad being on the road and him trying to pretty much start an upstart business and dealing with this stuff and coming from an island up here to then go try to run over the road or try to find a way for himself as well as for my mom. It was still like me in the middle trying to like figure out or navigate like which way is up. But if I had my parents to pretty much consistently prop me up every time I fell short, I think I'd have been less of a man because I went through the whole, like when I got married to my wife, I came from Arab mattress to plastic patio furniture in the living room to like we sharing one car to get back and forth to try to figure out work or, hey, you can't work too far to where you got to be able to walk there because we only got one car. So we need to figure out how you going to get to work. And I pretty much be able to go the further distance to pretty much bring in the largest sum per se at that time. But I just feel me personally, like my daughter is 24. And yes, we've been there to help her, like stand her up a little bit, a little, a little nudge, but nothing to where we pretty much taking care of her responsibilities. Like she's 24, she turned her own key in her own door. She don't ask mommy and daddy for nothing.
And I think that's the problem with him. He was like 18, hadn't turned 18 yet.
Yeah.
And then he had one time when he was grown. I didn't enable him, but I let them move in with me, him and his girlfriend, who's now his wife. But they had to get jobs and go do what they had to do. She had got laid off and all that. I think they stayed with me a year and they moved out, and that was in what, 2019? 20? No. Yeah. They've been gone for years. They up the street, but they ain't had to ask for nothing or do nothing or none of that.
Yeah,
because he's prideful.
Like oh yeah. You gonna fit enough, you can get knocked about enough, you're gonna lose enough, and then at some point you're gonna be like, you know what? I can't keep on starting over every single time something happens because mommy ain't got it. And if mommy is my only option, then I need to figure out for myself what it is I need to be doing for me because you really ain't gonna be called a man for too long with mommy
I
keep
call
on.
all my sons little boy. Little boy. Come here. Look
And,
girl.
if but when we as parents, when we enable them, then they really have no motivation to go and get it for themselves, to go and build a life for themselves,
They
to
gonna
go and
lose
get
it.
a stable job, to choose priorities, what's important, going out on the weekend with your friends and partying, or keeping that money in your pocket for gas for the week. So if we're enabling them, then we're not motivating them to, of course, prioritize their responsibilities. Versus, let's just say January, and here it is, you ask, I had to support you, help you in January, and then I don't have to help you or support you until like June. That's different. But when it is consistently every month, and because out of, and I think more so with more women that do it than men. I'm not saying that men don't do it, because I know men who do it too, but it's more so women that do it more than men. When we, every single time they call and ask for something, we do it, then yes, we are enabling them. So
But then,
supporting versus
so
enabling
how do
versus support.
yeah, okay,
How to what?
support, but okay, so your mom is pretty much helping you take care of the responsibilities that you have, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
what example do you have as a boy growing up to actually watch the mom and dad doing it, or is it just mom always doing it? Because if mom is always doing it, then you can just find a woman like mom to take care of you for the rest of your life.
Oh, pretty
They
much. And
got
I'm sure that for the most part, that's what happens. I've seen
Can we
it.
curse? Can we curse?
I've seen it in some cases where it's
oh
both.
yeah.
Okay.
Both, but what I'm saying, for the most part, I believe that it's women who do it more than men. Men still enable, because I know some men who enable, but it's more so women who do it more than men. And then I've seen
Okay.
relationships with mother and wife, it's mom and dad both supporting their children, where the child is still, in college. Let's say they're in college full time. After college, they get a job. They're establishing themselves, building a foundation, creating a path, a life path for themselves, but their parents still support them. Now, the parents don't enable them, paying their rent, paying their car notes, paying like everything. They help them if for some reason something happens and they need to step in. That's support. But enabling, of course, we are not helping our children when we enable. We are harming them, because just like you said, then there's no motivation to go out
And
and
strive
make
for
the
it.
choices that create their own life path. They know I could just call my parents. But like you said, if it's a mom that's doing all the things for the children, then for the especially sons, then there's a high probability that they will go and want to be with a woman who is going to take care of them. That's
Because
fact. That's a valid point.
it breeds. I'm gonna say this within my mom is probably within
Uh-huh.
earshot of me.
Go ahead and say it, Marvin.
Try to be as possible, but
Mhm.
it's like you breeding a bunch of fuck niggas. Like it's
Oh,
just it's just
Marvin, let me drink some
We
coffee.
because
it's like the same. It's like the
I
same
know.
cycle. Like women feel the need to nurture and take care of and build you up and fix you, and for some reason or the other, to where I always have to take care of you because nobody else in the universe, your mom wasn't looking out for you, uncle, sister, uncle, whatever, was always helping fix your problems, right?
Right. Instead of
So
letting them, like you said, fall on their face and figuring it out.
yeah, you never had to feel your part. So you grow up with everybody else fixing your problems, and then up to the point where you're now not even seeking out the
To
balance
be
of
a
like
man, you're male, you're either a male or a boy. You're not a
so now
true man
you're,
who can handle all of
you're
his responsibilities.
you've been
Yeah.
nurtured by your grandmother, your mom used to look out for you, your cousins and your sisters who look out for you. You're the baby of the group. So they look at you and say, "Oh, we always got to take care of. That's my little brother. I got to look out for him. That's my little cousin. I got to look out for him." And
Oh,
then
Jesus.
yeah, And then
when you get a minute, go ahead and break down what's up, nigga.
No, but you grow into adulthood, and then you don't seek out the alpha female that pretty much is on her grind and trying to do more and pushing you to do more for yourself. You're now seeking out somebody that pretty much trying to fix you because you name a man in you're a man in size but a boy in mentals. So you're gravitate toward a woman that pretty much is gonna take care of you.
Right.
You borrowing her car. You're getting $20 and go get a job or something of the sort. You falling back on that woman because your grandmother, because your dad skipped out when you was young. So he's been gone. Your dad been gone. So the only person left around was your mom, your grandmother, your aunts, your uncles. And your uncles was like a ship that's passing through, but they didn't actually instill anything in you to where you're out in the world and you pick up on a woman that pretty much is not really, they're looking for you to lead, but you needing somebody to be yourself. So
you're right.
Hey mama, hey grandma.
Right.
Can I? The word is can I. You should just make a pendant that say can I, not GBD, no gang, nothing. Just can I. That's the only thing you should put on your chest, can I. Because you ain't doing shit. You ain't doing shit.
Right.
Everybody else, your responsibilities, you turn into a dog, and then somebody else still picked up and did with your responsibilities after that.
You're right. And someone always has to pick up.
He was young. Once he became like 21,
we've talked to you. Encourage it by continuing to fix everything.
Right. You're right. You're right.
When he got 21, I was like, Negro.
Yeah, so you can't get upset.
You gotta do it.
Dudes out here and they're like, oh, he's a bum. They didn't know he was a bum in the beginning. They just thought he was pretty much it happens both ways. There are females out here that are propped up by sugar daddies and all this other stuff, and they for the world.
That's our next podcast. Don't be giving away the goodies. You know the barter system. That's the next one. We're gonna talk about the barter system and step on lots of toes and probably missing people.
You see, you gotta break the generational curse of it. You gotta break the cycle of something. So to break a cycle means at some point somebody had to stand up and say, "Hey, I can't deal with it. I can't deal with it." Because if you don't, what's gonna happen is you're gonna have that cycle continue, not to him, but
you're right.
To the after him.
In the next generation. You're right.
Because how to say, if you don't raise your kids, you probably raise the grandchildren. I heard that stuff all over the internet. Everybody saying, if you didn't raise your children right, you're gonna wind up raising the grandchildren because you didn't do what you were supposed to do from the beginning.
The only way I raised the grandbaby, 9 are dead.
Be quiet, Sharon.
I'm serious.
Well, let me tell a quick story.
They'll tell you.
Let me tell you a quick story. I think I already told maybe you, Sharon. I'm not sure. Maybe Marvin. I'm not sure. But I was out walking one day doing my, one of my walks that I do during the week, and there was an earthworm crawling across the road. And I was like, I looked down. I was like, oh my gosh, you're gonna get squashed by a passing vehicle. So let me help you. And so the earthworm was coming from this direction, but and he was going this direction, but I picked the earthworm up and took him back in the direction from whence he came. Yeah. And so I was like, yes, such a good deed. Yay, I saved him. Woo-hoo! And then I walk off, and then the spirit arrested me and said, and you just created more work for the earthworm. You should have let the earthworm continue on his way, taking the risk of being squashed by the car, taking the risk of being eaten by a bird, taking a risk of maybe it taking him all day, taking a risk of maybe he wouldn't get to it at all, but now he has to start over, and you've created more work for him instead. And what the spirit says, you in him. No, he knew nothing. I just seen him in the street. I wanted to do a good deed, okay? And I thought that I had